Good night. This is my presentation for activity 11 of the English class, number 3. My name is Ivan Rivas and let's start it out. For this activity we needed to present the rhetoric devices used into speeches, one chosen by ourselves and one which was told on the 1961 inauguratory for the President Kennedy. So, the speech I chose is the one made by Volodymyr Zelensky during the Ukraine Independence Day. Due to the time constraints, I'm just going to read the highlighted text. This speech was made with the intention to essentially mock Russia for its attempts and its weird conducts, as well as celebrating the fact that Ukraine actually managed to fight back, while also uniting all of Europe to a single cause, which was really cool in my opinion. So, started off. Free the people of independent Ukraine. One of the first devices that we can find is an anaphora. It says, and mainly how much truth is in them, our truth about our present, which is impossible to argue. It's an anaphora because they use the word truth to emphasize the idea, and it repeats multiple times during the sentence. Next, it says, 6 months ago, Russia declared war against us on February 24th. The entire Ukraine heard explosions and gunshots, and on August 24th, it was supposed to hear the words, Happy Independence Day. On February 24th, we were told you have no chance. On August 24th, we say Happy Independence Ukraine. This is Kairos. Why is it Kairos? Because one of the main arguments or points that people stole during the start of the war is that Ukraine was going to get just absolutely destroyed. Because we believed that Russia was the second strongest army in the world, and we thought that the Ukraine, being a small nation with a small army with not a lot of equipment, wouldn't have a single chance. So remembering those statements and putting it against their reality, that is that you can actually manage to fight back. And on August 24th, they were still a free country. It's like a very powerful way of delivering that message. So that's why it's Kairos. Next, when democracy grew teeth again, when the tyrant receives an answer in the language it understands. Personification. Here, it's a classic personification. When they say that something grew teeth again, it means it once again has valor. It once again is aggressive and is willing to defend itself. And when the tyranny receives an answer in the language it understands, it refers that tyranny can only understand the language of violence. And in this case, this violence was pushing back the Russian invasion. Next, being indifferent, inactive, and slow is a shame. Being indecisive and too cautious is a shame. Anaphora. Why is this an anaphora? Because it's using a lot of the first starting consonants. Indifferent, inactive, and slow is a shame. Indecisive. All the repeating makes it an anaphora. Next, glory to Ukraine and glory to the heroes. On February 24, we had to prove our words with this. Sentencia. Why is this a sentencia? Essentially because Glory to Ukraine, Glory to the Heroes is part of the anthem, and now they had to prove it that they actually could do it. Next, we have an allusion. But this time it was necessary to say yes to independence, not in the ballot, but in the soul and conscience. The ballot was a ballot run by the Russians where they basically asked the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, as well as part of Kherson, if they wanted to be part of Russia, part of Ukraine. But the result was that they wanted to be part of Russia, but it was entirely faked. This is happening that basically everybody knew about, and we all knew it was fake, so they don't really have to reference it directly for people to understand the meaning of it. That yes, you may sign yes, but it's because you have a gun to your head, not because you truly believe it. So, let's continue to the Kennedy speech. This speech was told in 1961. It was when Kennedy swore loyalty to the United States as the next president. So, let's start it out. First we have, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. Allusion. This speech was still relatively close to the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings with the atomic bomb, but more importantly, it was made when the nation actually discovered that the Russians also had atomic bombs. So now basically humanity have the power to destroy the entire world, which is why we make this illusion that we can abolish all poverty through our efforts, but also all forms of human life through war if we are not careful. Now, let the world go forth from this time and place to friends and foe alike. This is an alliteration because we repeat the sound a lot of times. Let the word go forth from distant place to friend and foe alike. This makes a little bit of emphasis on especially on the words friend and foe alike, and it's a really nice device that the Kennedy used. Next we have, we pledge our word to the one form of colonial control shall not have passed away, merely to be replaced by a far more iron tyranny. Allusion. Why is this an allusion? Because during this time they called Russia, they said that Russia had essentially an iron wall or an iron curtain around Europe. That's what it is specifically referring to when they said iron tyranny. It's referring to Russia and the oppression that they caused, but without actually calling them out directly, which could be a mistake on politics. Next, we dare not tempt them with weakness, for only when our arms are sufficient beyond doubt, we can be certain beyond of doubt that they will never be employed. This again is an allusion to the fact that now everybody has weapons of mass destruction. So the only way that we can actually stop them from being used is via the concept of mutually assured destruction, which was coined during this time of the Cold War. That basically says if anybody blows us up, we can blow up everybody else. So yeah, let's just not blow each other. And those are some of the rhetoric devices. The last one, in the big blue one, is actually an aphora because it says, let both sides, let both sides, let us, a lot of times, which emphasizes the idea that there's two sides in the conflict of the Cold War. And it repeats the sentence, making emphasis on those two sides. Well, that is all from me for today. Take care.